Chapter 24. As the time for the closing of the cycles comes closer, an impetus is being felt within those who are energetically compatible. Because of the flow of energies that are now focused within the magnetic field of the Earth and those thought energies that are available, a mental and emotional discomfort is being experienced by many. These feelings and understandings that something is out of the ordinary are motivating these people to search for a cause and an end to this uncomfortable state. It might be said that cosmic burrs are being planted so as to get the attention of those who are energetically yet outside the level of submissive indoctrination. These are the ones who will find and read these messages and identify with the content and its purpose. The search for the cause and the solution will end with the reading. Then will begin the commitment to a purpose that calls for fulfillment in a way that is difficult to ignore. Once the seeds of a purpose are ingrained within the awareness, it roots and becomes aware of opportunities to express and participate within its expression. This illustrates the law of attraction, as those who are already committed are focusing intention to manifest a new paradigm of experience. The law of attraction begins to draw more and more into this shared focus. As the intentional focus gathers more that share this cooperative agreed upon desire, this activates the second law of the universe, that of intention to manifest a shared focus. That focus begins to clarify and to intensify, thereby adding more attraction energy. This building of a momentum then multiplies exponentially. It is the shared general point of agreement that is the organizing impetus for the successful manifestation of the intended focus. As the laws begin to act and interact with and within each other, the process of thought thinking begins, thus opportunities and synchronicities begin to be incorporated into the experience of those holding the intended focus in their consciousness. It is critical that those in the beginning phases hold the general intention of creating change through their own desire to do so. Out of this intention will blossom the birth of this new experience. Mankind has been held in bondage and ignorance long enough. There are enough evolved humans present now on this planet who desire to take responsibility for the present and future of this planet to focus this intention into a new reality. It is a matter of getting the truth of the situation into their awareness and offering them a solution that does not require them to sacrifice their life experience to the intentions of other detrimental plans for humanity. It merely requires that they change their attitudes and understand that they are the rightful owners of their own planet, provided they are willing to be responsible citizens of it and of the galaxy of which it is part. It is necessary that each and all understand that planned manipulation has been foisted on them at every turn, through every institution, be it government, media, societal mores, religious doctrines, and the ground in understanding that violence and competition are the answer to all problems. Indeed, calm, resolute and unbending intention that underlies all forms of decision, actions, and thoughts will bring about more positive changes in one lifespan than thousands of years of aggressive misuse of each other. Further, it is time to end the allowance of outsiders to misuse the mineral resources and the human, animal resources so generously provided by this planetary home. It might be said that humanity's mining claims have been literally stolen from them through the misuse of these resources on the planet and through the export of them by those who have already misused and mistreated their own planetary home. Now they despoil yours to continue their same pattern. Careful study of documented information and studied conclusions now available in printed form leads the discerning individual, group to the inevitable conclusion that indeed something is very wrong. It is time to change the scenario for the sake of humanity and to end the literal rape of this earthly domain that is the heritage and birthright of those whose home it is by birth and by adoption. This planetary home is humanity's to retrieve and to own, but first the false mining claims must be refuted and correct ownership established. Since the power of the contesting entities for continued colonization of this planet is totally overwhelming, then action of the laws of the universe, properly understood and applied, is the powerful resolution to the problematic situation that seems so dire when its full picture is comprehended. Through the law of attraction, those of singular intent will gather their focus. By cooperatively intending to create a new experiential paradigm of experience, the next layer of power through the second law will be added, and those will interact and integrate, bringing forth discernible intensification and expanding attraction of others to the process. The third law of the universe is the most difficult to access and to practice. It is the law of allowance. The process must be allowed to construct itself within the focused and agreed upon intent. This law is most perfectly applied through confidence in an acknowledgement of every nuance of manifestation as they begin to be experienced not only as a group, but also especially within the daily happenings of each individual's personal life. The new paradigm of experience is a coalescence of all the individual experiences that fit within the agreed upon focus of intent. These are locked in as they are noticed, acknowledged, and appreciated. It is the small occurrences that instill the confidence that is at the center of the application of the law of allowance. Doubt is a normal human trap, but when the desire for change is deeply felt and held in mental and emotional confidence, it must manifest. This will not be an easy phase, thus the encouragement of small group interaction with the sharing of both knowledge and happenings that support the actual reality of experience will strengthen this necessary application. There are those individuals that will accomplish this phase very much on their own. All are appreciated. Through the coordinated and integrated action of the first three laws of the universe, the fourth law of harmony and balance will manifest into reality. This is not to say that there are no polarity experiences within the law of balance and harmony. Indeed there are, however, there are not the extremes of experience leading to great imbalance. These are merely lessons of discernment that demonstrate knowledge lived into wisdom. It is the learning to rely on the self-awareness to perceive where each is within the application and understanding of these laws that underlies all of manifested reality. That will replace the programmed need to look outside to some power greater than self for the gift of permission to do something or to fulfill a desire. It is up to the self to attain that desire through the application of those laws for the self and in cooperation with others. Thought properly intended thinks and acts through to completion if properly held in mental and emotional focus for positive change. Focus is lightly held by the mind. If you intend for your body to move from one room to the other, it simply does by acting on your intentional motivation for it to do so. It acts entirely within the universal law of intention into manifested action. It is not even a conscious thought, it is an intended action, and it happens. The subtlety of this example demonstrates the power of intention that is lightly held but is yet confidently expected to happen. It would be well for this example to be contemplated and carefully understood. Chapter 25. It is necessary for those who choose to become involved in this process to make a firm commitment to change the perspective through which their life experience is viewed, remembering that the perspective chosen is in accordance with the type of view that is available within each one's personal attitude. This view is either observed stubbornly through a singular, one-way only focal point that rules out all other possible choices, or it can allow for realizing that other points of view are available. It is possible to think in terms of what is true being at the center of a circle and 360 degrees of possibilities existing. Beyond that lies the ability to expand further into a holographic conceptual understanding in which truth is at the center of a sphere and an almost immeasurable number of possible viewpoints exist. Through this change in attitude, what is known as judgment becomes choices. It allows for others to observe and choose, and it encourages the self to quest for more perspectives and a broadened experience. The allowance for other possibilities to exist expands the life experience and brings the being into the flow of expansive energy that is the source of all that is, as it understands itself through knowledge acquired and lived into wisdom through individual experience. It is difficult to comprehend that each life experience contributes to the composite that differentiates itself so that it can then gather those scattered experiences back into itself in a meaningful way. It can only be interpreted through intelligent beings observing their experiences and drawing conclusions, which is another way of saying experiencing knowledge acquired into the wisdom of understanding. This happens in both separated, individual experience and conclusions, as well as group and mass group experience data gathered and processed. The mind intelligence capable of doing this is beyond the scope of its finite awareness to comprehend. It is only necessary to be aware that the process is part and parcel of who and what each is. Infinite possibility is constantly being contemplated and investigated. Each and all are the instruments through which this process is going on. Thus it is important to understand there is no sin or error, only experience to be lived into the wisdom of understanding and infinity in which to do it. However, when, through wisdom gained, there are those who wish to bring an experience to its conclusion, as do the humans on this planet, then it is possible for knowledge to be made known to those asking so that new choices are available. It is through knowledge gained that the process of asking for assistance is brought forth. However, the asking must be done within the applicable laws that underlie the existence of all manifested experience. There must be an understanding and application of those laws by the requesting group before it is possible to give the assistance. When considering these messages, it is possible to see the tight circle of circumstance within which humanity on this planet finds itself locked. It is possible to see it as a wheel of existence from which there has been no escape, and to understand why those who prefer this planet to remain as a colony rather than an independent self-determining unit have employed all possible means to arrange this. Since the actions of these beings are under scrutiny now, it has been necessary to manipulate the population to perpetrate, on the surface, control measures upon themselves, so to speak. Therefore you come to understand the power structures and reward systems that have been fabricated in order to entice those who would apply these control techniques upon their fellow beings, as well as instigate destructive functions to the planet for their own apparent gain. How long they enjoy this advantage over their fellow humans remains to be observed. It is to be noticed how often those who have outlived their usefulness, and know the inner workings of the conspiracy to control, seem to come to interesting ends. It is this ability to observe that allows for choice as to what each would intend to have for a life experience. It is this choice process that will enable mankind to change the planned destiny and remove themselves from the control and influence of those who would control and hold this planet as their own rather than allow for its populace to evolve into galactic citizenship. The solution lies in the ability of Earth's evolved human residents to lay claim to their planet by their own recognizance, for unknown to them, theirs is the first right of refusal. Colonization by outsiders is only possible through their permission, in this case by default through ignorance of their own ability to claim it and for the most part ignorance that they are a colony at all. Considering the carefully documented historical evidence of alien presence on this planet for millennia that is now available in print and the myriad of UFO sightings, how this foreign presence goes without understanding is illogical and beyond comprehension by all outside observers. It is as though Earthlings are totally fixated on continuing to accept slavery and control, except for those few upon which the hope of the survival of humanity and the planet now depends. May the Force be with you. End chapter 25.